Hey there friends, welcome to the shop. A little behind the scenes action. Now, for you, the video for our Halloween costumes has already come out. You've already seen it. It was probably really cool. But for me, I haven't even tried on my dinosaur suit yet. We made the whole Batman thing and I never even tried it on. And now we need the beauty shots, so I definitely need to put this on. And I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. Hopefully, I can get this all myself. If not though, Brittany's there to help out. And I think this just goes right over my shoes. I don't want to have to take my shoes off, but I might have to. Okay, I'm gonna take my shoes off. Step 1, remove shoes. I'm sure there are instructions that came with this, but the sheet of cardboard that came in the plastic, I cut up and used as templates, so none of that for me. All right, that's a lot easier.
You have a weird job.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird job. I usually try and make sure that costumes I make, I can get into them myself. That's not always the case, but I really usually want to make sure that I can get out of them myself. So I think what I need to do is like bend over and bring this thing over my head like this. Okay. All right.
You're basically done.
Basically done. I'll turn my fan on, zip up, and put this whole thing together.
I'm gonna pull these down a little bit. Yay!
It is a little foggy in here. That's fine.
It looks amazing. Can you turn to the side? That looks really good. How's the vision in there?
That's fine.
It looks good when it goes forward like that.
We're done filming the dinosaur. Here's our green screen setup. The light over here is meant to light the screen, and the light over there was meant to light me as a dinosaur. Hopefully you've seen it, and it looks amazing. This is some of the weirdest setup we've had to do for sort of beauty shots that we do at the end of every project video. So I'm putting that away because we got the shots and they look good. And then over here, well, we've got a whole other mess of stuff. So we're done with the Nazgul. I need to go put that stuff away. Dino's over there. It's just kind of a mess. This is like the aftermath of a really wild party. Gels come out, we got our gaff tape. Like when it's time to shoot beauty shots of our props and costumes, we just pull out all the lights and all the fun stuff. So we've been up to that this morning, getting the dinosaur thing all squared away. Brittany's editing that right now. And then I'm gonna clean up and get this space ready because we still have to put together the Ghostbuster costume. I still don't have my jumpsuit. I ordered it on Amazon and it's not here yet. But hopefully it gets here tonight and we can finish that tomorrow. But until then, I need to clean up this mess. I think this will be a time lapse. Totally clean, except for everything on the other side of this camera. That's still a disaster, but over here, man, that looks great. I'm doing a little bit of light leather working. I'm making a little belt clip. The Ghostbuster costumes, they all tend to have like a keychain belt, like, you know, their keys go from their belt, but they all have this hook loopy thing that I could have just bought, but I didn't, and I don't really know why, but I'm gonna make one. I have a spare 10 minutes and I already had the clip in the leather, so I'm just putting this thing together right now. I am working on the snaps so that I can snap this around my belt. Or I guess I could just rivet the bottom of it and then slide the belt through. Maybe I'll just do that. That seems a little easier. I already put a rivet on the bottom one. That goes like that, and then that'll go through there. Poke it with an awl. And poke it all the way through. There we go. Punch a hole. There we go. And I can use these adorable little rivets. I always have like a lot of leatherworking stuff. Whenever I buy these, especially like these rivets, I buy them in like a 100 pack, even if I only need like 10, because I'll use them eventually. And then leather, this black leather. I helped a friend move, and he was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. He had some leather from a project he was working on, and I took it. He said I could have it. So I've been sitting on this for a couple of years. Actually, that friend has since moved twice, so it's been more than a couple of years I've been sitting on this leather. And now that I need it, I have it. So another point for hoarding. Here, let me go smack this with a hammer. Hold on 1 second. Perfect. There we go. In about 10 minutes, I got myself this really nice little belt loop hooky thing, and that can go on my Ghostbusters costume. Another project, done and done. Well, now that those shenanigans are over, time to relax a little bit. Actually, the video just went live. The Halloween video just went live, and we are starting the planning stages of the next project, which will be out in November. And we actually don't spend a ton of time in the shop on days like this. I'm in the shop because it's quiet, except for the beeping of backing up trucks over there that I hear. But I'm in here cleaning up. I still have, we take a peek over there, some cleaning up to do. Got my Ghostbuster costume. I'm not sure where that's gonna live, but I need to figure that out. So yeah, it's kind of a chill day. Not a lot to film because a lot of the work we're doing is on the computer. So for example, I need to make a helmet pattern, and for this one I think I'm gonna do it digitally. I'll make a 3D model, unwrap it with Pepakura, and then go to foam, or go to paper and then foam to figure that out. But I'm gonna be in front of the computer for a while. Same thing with some of the other pattern things I'm working on for an upcoming project. A lot of computer work. So not a lot to do here in the shop. In fact, today I have to go get my oil changed. So sometimes there's just days where there's not a ton going on here. There's a lot of boring real life stuff. But we always try and find ways to make it fun and interesting around here. I've been cleaning up after the last project and thinking about areas like this where stuff has just kind of accumulated in a pile, and it's not terribly accessible. Like, this is where I keep all my like assorted greeblies, but it's not labeled. Every time I look for something, like if I need a knob, I gotta look through every single container to find the right knob, instead of labeling one of these drawers knobs and keeping all my knobs in there. So at some point I want to reorganize this. I think maybe get another rack, maybe not one quite like this, maybe something with more of these bigger drawers like this guy here. But I'm just kind of thinking about that day as I'm tidying up and cleaning and organizing. This guy, my Ghostbuster flight suit, I could fold it up, but this freaking hose makes it a real pain to put away. It doesn't fold really well. So I think eventually I'll have to get a clothes rack, like a rolling clothes rack. Sooner rather than later, actually, because then the costumes that we keep around in the shop can go on that clothing rack. We can store it somewhere, and then if we need them, they're accessible. They don't have wrinkles or anything on them. So yeah, like the Ghostbuster flight suit's a good example. The Nazgul robe we just finished could be hung up. Let's see, I have some Adam's Cats jackets over there, and my Cyberpunk costume. And we have just some assorted costumes around, and I want to have them stored effectively so that we can make sure they get wrinkled or deteriorate, but also so that they're accessible so we can use them in videos. How much fun would it be if the Nazgul showed up in a build video in the future? We never think to do that because those costumes always just get jammed into a corner or tucked away somewhere, and we never get our hands on them. So upcoming project is probably going to have to be a clothing rack for all of our cool costumes we got hanging around. And of course, sorting all of my assorted Greebly. So I can't do that today because I gotta go get my oil changed, but look for that in an upcoming vlog. Some fun organization tips. In fact, if you have some ideas on sorting many bits like that, please leave a comment below. And if your recommendation is to buy a whole bunch of Sortimo cases like Adam Savage, trust me, I want that too. But like I mentioned, I have to get an oil change, and that costs about as much as one Sortimo case. They're really expensive. There are some Sortimo replacements. I know Stanley makes some that I'm interested in. I was just watching a video. A guy built a really cool rack for those Stanley cases, and they're quite a lot cheaper than the Sortimo ones, and they're nearly as good. Not as good. I have used the Sortimo cases. They are magical and amazing, but at like 65 bucks a pop, whew, buying a couple dozen of those gets really expensive super fast. So I might put together a rack for the Stanley cases, which would be really fun. But again, future plans. And when I do tackle those projects, of course, I will share them here in the vlog for you, my dear friends. Figured I'd wrap up the vlog with another tool story. This is a case full of taps and dies. Old rusty case with nearly perfect tap and die set in there. All right, let's see what we know about this, because I did not purchase this. This was also acquired from Brittany's grandfather's barn. He had a whole set, like a box just full of taps, things like this. And I went and organized all of them, a couple hundred of them. I organized them, and then I took half of them for my own use, and I left half of them for whoever, any other family members that wanted to use them. But I also found this whole tap and die set. Now, I have no idea when this was made. It was made in Japan, and apparently it cost $289.80. Other than that, I don't know anything else about this thing, but I can say it looks like it was hardly ever used. It is imperial. There are no metric tools in here, and I can say there are a couple of specific tap sizes it does not have. So for example, when I did the my critter spray gun, I had to thread the end of that tube with a quarter 32, not a quarter 20, very common. In fact, quarter 20 is maybe this one here. The tap and die. So there's a tap and then a die that matches it. Quarter 28, here we go, quarter 18. It's got a lot of weird ones, but it didn't have that quarter 32, so I had to order that separately. But it does have nearly everything else, including just some absolutely monstrous taps. Now, I don't use a lot of these. I do some tapping and some die cutting with these just ridiculously huge handles. I don't do a lot of it now. I do some of it. So this isn't really all that necessary. I have more die sets over there, but this is so complete. And it has, it's got MPT threads, which are tapered for pneumatics, for air stuff. But it also has these monsters. Someday, I'm gonna use this, and it's gonna be awesome, and I'm gonna be really excited. Because I can't even imagine what buying a tap this size would cost. Tungsten, 1NC8. I have no idea even how big that is, but it's a monster. What's this guy? 1-inch NS14. I don't know what that means, but another big old tap. Anyway, this just kind of sits around, and when I need it, I will grab it, but usually I have other taps I can use until I need one of the really cool big ones or something. But anyway, it always pays to have a complete tap set. If you have a gap anywhere, that's the one you'll need. That's if there's a rule when it comes to dies and taps. The one you need is the one you're missing. And there are only one copy of each in this, and it is very common for taps to break. So like a quarter 20, I got half a dozen of them over there in case I break any, although those usually don't break. But these little fellas, this is I can't even read that, it's tiny, but this is a teeny tiny little fella. These sorts of things are prone to breaking. So it does pay to have lots of spares. Anyway, that's my tool story. I had to mail this to Seattle from New York, where I grabbed it. So I just sort of wrapped it in cardboard and threw it in the mail. It arrived no problem. I think it cost like $60 to mail it though, because this thing is not light. It is probably 10 to 15 pounds of metal. Anyway, it's another tool I've got at my disposal. And having this broad range of taps and dies means that usually if a need comes up, I don't need to go buy something. I've got it right here. Really, I'm just justifying hoarding all of these tools. Just for a little bit of context, these are the rest of my taps. So, for example, the quarter 20, you can see I've got quite a few in there, and the drill I need to pre-drill the hole before tapping. So I have a whole range of all the way to here are all taps. I got a pretty monstrous fella right there. So these are all imperial taps. Up here I have some small dies, and then I do have some metric, which are here. I don't have a ton of them, right? I have these metric ones. I think I have another one chilling down here somewhere. Yeah, actually that can go with those. And then here's my metric dies so far. And then check this out. I was telling you about the really small ones. This is an M2 tap. I came in a 10 pack because I'm sure they are counting on you breaking these tiny little things. I haven't broken one yet. Fingers crossed. That's gonna wrap it up here in the shop. Again, sorry we didn't have a ton of exciting stuff happening this week. But from my end, it's actually kind of nice to have a couple of chill days here in the shop. We are working very hard on the next project. It's gonna be really exciting, and I'm excited to get it to you. I can give you a hint. The next project we're working on will be the 500,000 subscriber project for the community. I'm gonna make a thing, I'm gonna make a pattern for it, I'm gonna give it out, and I'm gonna ask all of you to make that thing. If you're not familiar yet, check out our Malcolm Reynolds 100,000 video and our Makande Dagger 250,000 subscriber video. We're gonna do that again for the next project. Not gonna tell you what it is yet, but it's gonna be really exciting. Okay, that's all I'm gonna give you. I gotta go get my oil changed. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in the shop today. I appreciate it. I love the conversations we get to have, and I thank you so much for your support. All right, we'll see you with an update on Friday in that new project.